I usually can, see who, I can guess who likes them and who doesn't. And so I won't torture you with those videos.
You could surprise me, but I just don't know how clever it would be in response to some of them.
That's okay. I've been getting annoyed because we get flagged for them, not because they're bad, but because for copyright issues.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, even though we're commentating over them, they still get flagged and then we get demonetized. So
you don't want that to happen.
no, it's just a constant annoying thing where if we want to get remonetized, we have to go through a whole process, and I'm just tired of it.
Oh, so you're already demonetized?
On certain videos, yeah, for sure. Not on as a whole channel, thankfully.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a whole thing.
Right.
I used to have a puppy, and we were just talking about before we started recording for our listeners. You have a new puppy, and it's kind of a handful, and how much it takes up part of your life. And I used to have a puppy growing up. His name was Sparky. Yeah, and
What kind?
He was a lab. Yeah.
Black?
Like a yellow
okay.
lab. And he would just not stop eating poop. And it was like the biggest problem in the world with him.
Marlon doesn't do that now.
Right.
I mean, I hope that doesn't happen in the future.
Yeah.
But
Sorry for the curveball.
I have a friend who has a dog that won't stop eating poop, and it's an old dog too. He's like a beetle mix or something. He's like 14, and he still is eating poop. And she's like, and he's a mean dog too. She's just, why can't he just go? Why can't he just die? I mean, she says that jokingly, of course, because she would be heartbroken if he actually passed.
Of course.
But he's a colossal pain in the ass.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. It amazes me how certain things will gross me out, but then other things won't. And like the dog eating poop, like other people's poop or not other people's, but like other dog. Oh my God, this show has derailed so quickly. People are gonna be like, "What's he talking about?"
Oh my God, what is this? Like a John Waters tribute? Divine.
I just feel
even Divine didn't eat human poop.
Oh my gosh. I just feel so comfortable around you, Marg. That's why. My gosh.
Well, I'm flattered.
Yeah. No, but like, your stuff on CSI, like you actually had to watch, like you went and like shadowed a real autopsies, right?
Yeah, I did. Yes.
And so I can't do that. I don't think I could do that, to be completely honest with you. That's too not my specialty. I don't know. I don't know. It's giving me such a weird feeling even in my stomach right now.
Just to think about it.
Yeah. I don't know. That's weird. But then I'll watch somebody break their like ankle doing a stupid skateboarding thing, and I'm like laughing, and that doesn't bother me either.
Like a bone breaking through the skin?
Yeah, and I'll be like, oh my gosh, that's insane. But it won't like bother me like an autopsy will for some reason.
Yeah, that's not for the faint of heart. In fact, when I did this, it was, a few years ago, and it was in Vegas. And, well, I'll give you a little preamble to that, too, just because I had made arrangements to go on a ride along with this woman who my character, Catherine Willows, CSI 3, was loosely based on this woman who worked for the Vegas Crime Lab. Her name was Yolanda McClary. Anyway, so I'd been scheduled to do a ride along with her, and then followed by an autopsy visit the following day. Well, one of the calls, and I had done a ride along with her before. I just really enjoyed the process and hanging out with her and going to crime scenes. Most of them were benign, like where there was a break-in or, But this time it was. The call came in, over the radio, dead body at the Hard Rock, right? The Hard Rock Hotel.
Whoa.
And she goes, do you want to do this? And I said, I think I do. And, there's a part of me that was like, feeling guilty about the excitement I had because obviously a person has lost their life, you know what I mean? But I was eager about the whole being able to be in the process of gathering evidence because when we arrived, the body was still there, and it was because of course it was still there, But without getting into all the details, but there was like suspicious circs, as they called them. The door was left ajar, and there was like leaves on the back of his shirt, and
Leaves?
then leaves, because apparently he had been down below and he'd gotten quite inebriated and like fell into bushes, and I think the hotel staff had to bring him up in a wheelchair, and they just kind of like made sure he was on the bed, and then I guess he just fell because he was wedged between like the wall and the bed.
Wow.
Right, his body was wedged. So with the door being ajar, that obviously there were suspicious circumstances, right? Mm-hmm. Well, they just they gathered as much evidence as they could, obviously, including the leaves on the back of his shirt and like whatever it was in his hygiene kit or whatever. Anyway, so we processed it, and the following day they said to me, he'll probably be one of the bodies that will be at the autopsy. So you'll be able to like follow the whole, like really do the process of processing the crime scene, following through with the coroner's office, right. And then and I kept in touch with the coroner because it takes, unlike CSI or other procedural shows, you don't get the results in 48 minutes. It takes 10 days to get toxicology reports.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yes, but so that day, yes, indeed, he was one of the bodies. But meanwhile, going through, it's literally like walking into a chamber of horrors. Because there's, I mean, we're really getting into it on this bright Sunday sort of morning.
Yeah.
Just bodies in various forms of decomposition, and I'll just leave it there.
Yeah.
And it's really hard for me to go into this because it's so intense.
Well, I feel that like the realness of the situation, because we go about our daily lives. We don't, like, for the most of us, we don't think about this kind of stuff at all.
No.
We're not like it's so modernized and comfortable our way of living nowadays to see a dead body, especially like in America. I mean, most people don't.
Yeah.
I know. So intense.
Yeah.
But it's cool, for us as actors, how we could translate those experiences to our work. I always find that interesting. I always feel like, okay, you know what? I'm going to store that for a role on another day.
It was important to me because at this point I'd been doing it for 2 years already. And I had, I certainly had numerous scenes in Autopsy, right? And discussing with the coroner on the show, And I just felt it was kind of important for me to really witness in a firsthand way what an autopsy was, what it encompassed, and actually even trying to make comments about, like, along with the coroners and everybody in the autopsy theater.
Yeah.
And I found it very beneficial because that scent is so intense. That's one of the things that just rarely, I can still even feel it. Sort of, it stayed with me the whole weekend. We were in Vegas.
Oh boy.
Yes, but it really helped in terms of just the reality of scenes from then on. That always stayed with me, and so. And now that I'm coming back to do CSI, the reboot, down here, right here in River City.
Congrats, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
that's really exciting.
Yeah. Yes, it is. It is. Yeah, sure.
I mean, I think so. Like coming back to a character you haven't played in a while.
I know.
Where have they changed? Finding out with the writers and stuff, and talking like, okay, where do you see him, or where do you see her going, and stuff like that. That's kind of fun.
I've already had that was one of the reasons I before I agreed to do it, and before the negotiation started and stuff like that, it was really important for me to why would Catherine Willows, who's the same age as me, this is a job that it's not an easy job. In fact, this woman I was mentioning earlier, Yolanda McCleary, right? She retired at a relatively young age. 49 is pretty young, right? From being a criminalist. And she said to me that it was because she saw so many of her colleagues dying in their 50s, and she's. And it was various things, whether it was a heart attack or it was, sometimes it was cancer, or I I suppose sometimes it was alcoholism. But she just said, I just felt it was time for me to step back, because she, along with everyone, knows how difficult that job is and how it takes its toll on you to, process homicides, so that's what I opened with. I said, this is, why would she come back to a job that is so taxing upon her? And I'd let them, and the guy that's running the show now, Jason Tracy, he had a whole thing, because my character was also connected to the Vegas world, and that my father was a casino owner, and then he gets killed in an episode, and then I inherit this casino, this hotel casino. So it's not that I need the money to go back to work. You know what I mean? So anyway, so I introduced, I talked it over. I don't want to share it because I don't want to like jinx it or anything.
Oh yeah, don't share whatever you don't want to.
But it's I'm excited about it, actually. I'm excited about, hopefully, if they can integrate what I really would make me excited and inspire me, and I think inspire viewers too, because a lot of our viewers back in the day there was a wide range of people, right? And that's why it had such high numbers. It had whole families would watch the show, and girls and young women were obsessed with CSI, and many of them went on into that field. So that's something I could not have anticipated. I mean, I had a good feeling this show was going to be a big hit. The global phenomenon it became, and also like the CSI effect, the term that they coined during trials, like juries saying, "Well, I don't understand." They would quote CSI, and like they managed. They have to say, "Hang on now, they're making our jobs, prosecutors or whomever, they're making our jobs more difficult by, fictionalizing like how it really goes down." But
it's crazy to see and experience the impact of a TV show do that on like the zeitgeist, the cultural world. Like whoa, this is changing people's social interactions. This is changing parts of our judicial system in a way. Wow, this is cool to be a part of. I wonder where it's gonna go. And that must feel pretty. I don't know what it must feel like. What does it feel like being part of that, like over the years and seeing that change? It's like,
well, it was pretty obvious from the get-go, right out of the gate. That show was like just struck a chord, and because they buried us on a Friday night, CBS. I don't think they had a whole lot of faith in it, because Friday nights are traditionally, and this is like going back to 2000, right? So when network television still was the granddaddy, right? Now it's we all know. I mean, there's just so much content out there. It's hard to competition for viewers, right?
Yeah.
For eyeballs. So to get on a Friday night, like at 9 p.m., when most people are going out or whatever, they're it's usually not sitting home watching TV.
Yeah.
It got like almost 19 million viewers, which.
In fact, so many people.
I know, and it in fact, the CBS executives were kind of like, wait a minute, there's something must be wrong with what the box or whatever, the machine that determines how many, and they redid it apparently.
Whoa.
Yeah, because they just were they thought it was just a glitch or something. Anyway, long story short, and then it just kept building and building the momentum, and then obviously you start getting like a lot of publications and entertainment shows, whatever, like wanting to visit your set and talk to people, and so by Thanksgiving it was clear, like a runaway hit, like. So it aired like when all the network shows air, whatever, mid-September, late September. And then by Thanksgiving, a couple months later, it's just boom. It's like everybody's aware of it. So that was something that it was a fun ride. Definitely. It was a fun ride to be on that kind of trajectory.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it doesn't really happen much these days because of, like I said, all the competition, all the content, and I think these days network television, I understand their their thinking in that, because most people say, well, there's so many reboots or there's so many like spin-offs, and it's true. I mean, every network, in particular CBS and NBC, right? I don't know about so much ABC, but it's and I think it's because they're trying to retain the viewers that they had back in the heyday, you know, which always has skewed an older crowd, and I think that's probably why they're just hoping to settle with, you know, a satisfied number of audience viewers, and as opposed to trying to do something different or out of the box, because traditionally stuff like that hasn't really worked, or they don't give it the time that it needs to flourish.
Yeah. You know, I have a theory on what kicks off and what doesn't, and I might be wrong. I probably am. I'm wrong most of the time. I hope I'm not romanticizing this idea too much, but I feel like when the performances are true, and that doesn't necessarily mean that it's like super grounded, or, you know, it could be stylized in a certain way, but there has to be some kind of truth to the performance, to the stories.
Yeah.
I think that's where people start going, ooh, I like that. Maybe they can't pinpoint it. Maybe some people can be like, no, I like because it's so real, or it resonates true to me. Maybe that's what makes shows super successful. Or, I don't know. Because what was going on, like taking CSI as an example, just an example, what was like that show during the time?
In the beginning, beginning years?
Well, Law and Order, maybe?
What
and
was
the realness? In terms of like the gritty, like kind of.
Well, what was different, what made CSI stand out, it was that it was kind of like Sherlock Holmes for the 21st century, because we launched in 2000, right? The fall of 2000, and it was the first time that criminalists, you know, people that are behind the scenes, I guess traditionally they weren't like cops, detectives, lawyers, you know, it was, you know, people gathering the evidence and processing it, and you know, coroners, criminalists and coroners. And that was the first time, I think, I mean, I know there was the show Quincy with, darn it, I can't remember the actor's name, Jack Klugman. Before your time, but in terms of criminalists, I think that I remember reading a script. Oh yes, I do. There was a pilot script that I had read, like, I don't know, a couple years prior to CSI, and it had this interesting title. It was called Exit Elves.
Okay.
And it was the people that are in forensics, you know, and it never. I don't think it was even. It was offered to me, but I didn't, you know, I chose not to do it. I don't know if it was actually even shot. But so people had been trying to find a way to highlight these people as the heroes, and that's the style in which CSI was shot, you know, with the, you know, what came to be known as the CSI shot, with, you know, the bullets going through you know, slow motion through the brain, or, you know, like those kinds of, as well as all of the flashbacks, you know, the assumptions of how the crime went down. Right. You know, there's like, usually it was like 3 different assumptions. So depending on how many suspects there were. Right. Yeah. So I think it was the style, because Law and Order was much more gritty, and which is coming. The original Law and Order is coming back. Maybe it's back already.
I think. Yeah, I just aired it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you've been doing them, haven't you?
Yeah, the new Organized Crime. I did a nice arc on there.
Okay.
It's been great. The Organized Crime that's cool is like, it doesn't. It's more. Not every episode is a different case. It's like every 7 or 8 episodes, it's a new like. Story that's getting continued. Yeah.
But that's a new one though. That wasn't back in the day, right? There was SVU, which is still on. Yeah. I'm like, wow, the longest running show on TV.
I know, 20-something episodes, I think.
Amazing. And the one that Vincent was in, Vincent D'Onofrio, Criminal Intent. I think that's the one he was in. Yeah. Because they had 3 going at one time.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I love it. I love the amount of content that's out there right now. I don't watch nearly any of it just because I'm always either working or reading, and I'll watch like little clips from stuff. But I just like the fact that there's so much opportunity there for actors to audition for more than ever.
Yes, absolutely, and not just for actors, for writers and crew, and I mean, I know that there are some people that have complained, actors who've been on shows that don't shoot in L.A. They shoot in Atlanta or Shreveport or someplace like that, and they complain that it's just there's always issues with crew that aren't qualified, because they don't. There's not enough. There's not enough people to go around, So they're not. They haven't gone through a system of properly training how to be an electrician, or gripology, or so that's an issue. I know that in a lot of places, and I've encountered it too. And I mean, you expect it sort of like on indie films. Right, because the budget's so low, and everybody's trying to just kind of get their foot in the door. But like something that's like whether it's a streaming platform, with they have gazillions of money,
right?
Or it's a big cable channel or network. There's money there, you know, but there's just not enough bodies to go around to fulfill these roles. No. So I mean, it's you just want to make sure that it's good quality. I mean, I without going into the whole thing with the film Rust, right? With the horrifying situation that happened there, and I know there's an investigation going on, but one of the problems is that someone was doing their job that wasn't doing their job properly, so
that thing is a nightmare.
Yeah, I know.
I almost don't. I almost don't want to even comment on it, just because the stuff I've read about it, it's like red flag after red flag after red flag after red flag after red flag. Yes. I don't think I thank God all the shows I've worked on with guns and stunts and even a flare gun that was a prop flare gun. They showed us that it's empty. There's nothing in there. I don't know. I know that's a whole other subject. That's okay. The quality though, I'm not going to mention the show, but I talked with one of the PAs on a show I worked on, and I was talking with him. I was like, you know what? Hey, I just want to say, like, I really appreciate your professionalism, like how on it you guys have been. Like, I really, really appreciate that. Thank you. Because sometimes you don't get thanked as a PA on set. You know what I mean?
Oh my God, I know. When you have those great PAs that are that are there for like 22 hours a day or whatever, and they do their job so well without complaining, and they're in the elements. Yes, I know. I'm constantly complimenting somebody who does their job so beautifully they appreciate it. Yeah, they deserve praise. They deserve to get bumped up next season, or or next job.
Right. And so I was talking with him. I was like, I just it's just been, you're so on it, and the other PAs are so on it. I just really appreciate you guys. And I don't know why I asked him. I was like, hey, do you have trouble finding PAs like to come work for you? And he goes, don't get me started. And basically his whole spiel was, a lot of the younger generations that they try to get some, like, I don't want to say millennials. I'm going to say millennials. I'll get flack for it. It's fine. Just the younger generation will come into a PA position and not.
That's what you are. Aren't you a millennial?
No, I'm born 87. I think I'm generation.
Really? I thought millennials was.
I thought
95,
you were
85.
Oh, is it?
I think you're a millennial.
Maybe it's General Z. General Z.
Gen Z
you're
is
not
much
Gen
younger.
Z. Yeah.
Okay, maybe it's Gen Z. I don't know. See, now I'm the problem.
Those whippersnappers.
them young folk.
He said they have trouble understanding that the intensity and the qualifications needed for the job, or like, hey, you have to go get this actor right now. This isn't like we're shooting. They're like, yeah, 1 second. It's like, no, like now, and they don't last. It fell off. I'm tired with these lights. They fell off every single episode. That's it. We're done with the lights. I'm taking them off.
It was a dramatic effect because you were really animated.
I know.
When you were while they fell.
My energy just broke everything.
Exactly. Yeah.
I had switching subjects. I had a really good time working with you on the Getaway.
I did too, although we didn't really have a couple of connections, but it was that was an interesting project.
It was. I've said it before on the show. What made it interesting for me was my horrible stomach problems for 3 weeks straight.
Oh my God.
I mean, going back to poop, right? Oh man, it was bad. That night, the last night we worked together,
Yeah.
I was in so much stomach pain, and I was getting delirious because it was a night shoot.
Yeah.
And that was the night I started doing Anthony, the actor the terrible actor we worked with, Anthony Mark Barrow. That's when I was just like so delirious, and I just started doing impressions of his accent. Like I was just like in so much
I
pain.
remember that. That was
Yeah.
funny. I mean, you guys were like such a comedy duo. You kept me entertained throughout the whole. And that was we don't have to rehash everything that happened during that. But that project was.
Oh my gosh.
It's the project. It's
it-
coming back to tell us to shut the F up
Oh my
because
gosh. You got him, Peyton?
Yeah.
You're the best, Peyton.
I try.
No, we shot that in Mexico.
yes,
And
well, we always called it the Yucatan, but I think it's just known as Yucatan.
Yucatan.
Right.
But I can't say Mexico. I have to say Yucatan.
No,
Oh,
of
okay.
course you can say Mexico.
Okay.
Yeah, it just sounds more exotic when you say
you're right.
Yucatan. But yeah, I felt that show was cursed almost from the get-go.
Oh, the problems we had. Oh my gosh, yeah. Now I'm
Yeah.
forgetting the lightning rule.
Yes, and shutting down, and our director who was just he couldn't shoot for a couple of days because he was also filled with stomach issues, and it just was one of those projects that and then my friend. My dear friend passed away while we were shooting it, and it just was this one thing after another. But I mean, I don't know how many pilots you've shot in your career is pretty young. I mean, I know you've been doing this a long time, but
It's been a while. I actually got a good number of pilots, thankfully.
and how many of them have gone?
Oh my god.
This is incredible. That's okay. Is it blocking her
That
camera?
one is, so I gotta get that.
Yeah. Okay.
You
let's
keep talking.
Yeah. Let's see. I shot one that didn't go. Another one that did go. Another one. I shot probably 2 or 3 that didn't, and 2 or 3 that did.
Yeah, because
So it's half
Matt
and half.
Long,
Yeah.
who was on the Getaway with us, we discussed that because he's done a few. I obviously I was the elder statesman in the show.
Elder statesman.
But I counted it up. I remember counting them up. I mean, I think I have had more that went that did not go. More that went to series than those that didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, one of them only went for like 13 episodes, but nonetheless. So, but you in your experience, you probably can sense when the vibe is like the chemistry with the cast, and it's just got momentum. It's got it feels like different. It feels like, yeah, this is gonna go, right?
Yeah.
Because I've done, yeah.
It always happens to me afterwards. Whenever I can sense it. Now, maybe because I haven't done a lot.
Oh.
And so I don't want to. Yeah, it's always after,
okay.
like looking back and being like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I have to say sometimes you can like that one, the Getaway. I was not at all surprised
Okay, gotcha.
that didn't go.
Right.
It just was. In fact, were you there that night when after we wrapped? We were getting ready to. I don't know if you were there, but you left early. I can't remember.
Yeah.
It's all just a blur. I felt like I got sucked into a vortex on that show. I really do.
I slept for 2-3 hours that night, and I told the travel person, get me out tomorrow morning, because I had been there for almost a month.
I know, and that was the other thing too. They had us all there for way too early to.
No, you know what happened? Somebody, I'm going to say it, I don't care. Somebody just came in contact because of COVID protocols
with somebody got in contact with somebody who had COVID, and so they couldn't shoot their scenes. And so my stuff was like I was supposed to shoot something in the beginning.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
It was almost 3 weeks, and I didn't shoot anything yet. I'm just chilling.
Yes, I know. Yeah, I mean, it was a beautiful, Chapala,
yeah.
Yucatan.
Yeah.
Just gorgeous resort. I mean, just so special.
Yeah.
But I just felt like there was something that was off. There was off about that pilot. And I've done a couple others in which there was also that feeling. Ooh. But then there was, another that felt, I'm okay. But then in retrospect, yeah.
Yeah. My first pilot I ever shot, I was so excited, obviously, and the producers were great. It was fun working with the actors, and I was just like, oh my God, there's no way that this can't get picked up and everything like that. And then afterwards, I was so bummed when it didn't get picked up, and it wasn't until like, I think a year later, I was like, yeah, of course that didn't get picked up. Just looking back at the structure of it, and just when I say structure, it's like basic storytelling or the concept, and I'm like, yeah, like the climax was not really a climax of it. You just look back and you're like, oh man, wow, yeah.
Well, the Getaway, I mean, that was clear to me. I mean, it's just like, okay, so, it's going to be a cliffhanger. It was a cliffhanger. And then somehow some of us die and some of us survive. And then the two lead characters are going to go on to another destination kind of situation the following year. I mean, yeah. I'm sure the executives were, and also it's just like, where are we going to shoot this thing? Like where in the world this can look something like where we were shooting, which was so unique where we were shooting in Yucatan.
Yeah, I think they had to move
near
it.
Merida.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had to move it. I don't know.
Yeah, it just seemed like it was kind of, and some of the history behind it too. Like it was originally written during when everything was locked down, and it was supposed to go, and then there was a regime change at NBC. I think that's so. And when that happens, they shelve stuff, and then it got new life. And anyway,
yeah,
I think we've said enough about the Getaway.
Oh man,
it's gone. It's gone away.
It's gone away. That's for sure. Man.
But there was always like, we still have a lot of fond memories, even though you were not feeling under 100%. And even though I had, the situation with my friend, and everybody had something, right?
There was it was very odd how it was just on the production side. Now that you're bringing it back, it's like one thing after another,
I know.
after another, and I'm in my pool going, oh, that sucks. As I'm floating in the pool, I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'll stay here for another week.
Yes, I know.
But I got to tell you what it was like for me. So I've been out here for almost 13 years, and I hadn't worked. I was in the middle of a pilot. The same writer, J.J. Bailey, was on, and some of the producers from Echo, and we were 3 days in. COVID happened. The whole world shut down. They stopped the pilot. We flew back to LA, and it was a year and a half before I worked again. It was a year and a half later. I hadn't worked in a while. I was doing self tapes, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like what is like finance wise? I was like, I'm not doing so. I'm doing okay, but if this keeps up, I got to find something to do. And then all of a sudden, within 3 days, from going from, oh gosh, what am I going to do about money, to I'm in my private casita
I know.
in a pool living the dream. Like, this business is so bizarre.
Well, yeah, and how it affects your career. That's why it's so important. And we all can fall into it if we haven't worked in a while. We just go, I guess this is it. I mean, I've said that throughout my career. I've said, well, yeah, I guess that. And then you have to continue to believe and have faith. And then it turns around. For instance, The Getaway. Right? I had been doing a series called All Rise. Right?
Yeah.
And it was canceled in May. And then lo and behold, The Getaway kind of just happens and lands in my lap like a month later or something. And then while we're there, I, this whole, like I said, my friend passed away. Like a lot of things were, and we were shooting nights, and it was like, I couldn't help but going, why am I here? Why am I doing this? And that's not because my decision. It wasn't. It was a lovely place, and I liked everybody, and it was always nice to be offered a job, But anyway, so then, okay, we finish, and word comes out that All Rise finds new life on OWN, Oprah Winfrey Network, right? But I wasn't available because I was doing The Getaway. And then just a few days after the announcement for All Rise being picked up, The Getaway isn't going forward. And I'm like, oh man, because I really enjoyed working on All Rise. Well, long story short, the producers were really great in that of All Rise, they said, we'll figure out how we can get you to come back. You won't be able to be a regular, but anyway, so I am doing that show too. I'm doing 8 episodes of All Rise. And then, like, while I'm shooting the first episode of All Rise, just whenever that was, a month ago, I get this call from the producers of CSI to do the second season. And so it's like I went from having no jobs, to like having, gluttony. I have like 2 jobs that are, we're trying to like, work together with each other. And, obviously it's the line producers and the schedulers and stuff to make it work. But, like, you just never know what's around the corner. It's, so it's always important just to, look, every actor pretty much has a story about that, right?
Yeah.
Unless you're like Meryl Streep or somebody, that, whether it's Mark Ruffalo or, they always say, no, I was just going to give it up. And then boom, just turn a corner.
I think one of the most important skills for an actor or actress in this industry is to be able to compartmentalize.
Yes,
So
that's true.
In all your experience, how do you do that? Because obviously personal life happens and you got to work or something, you got to figure out to separate those so that maybe they don't flow into or affect one another. So like, how do you do it healthily?
Well, it changes throughout the years too. I've been doing this for a long time now, and then I would say that the most challenging part is when you start having a family. And it's more for actresses than it is for actors, but they're affected too, obviously. But just because it's, we're the ones that get pregnant, we're the ones that deliver the baby, and et cetera.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
No, I know.
And I think that it is a dilemma for a lot of actresses, and especially when you start to really connect, like in your early 30s, you just want to like, oh, I don't want to let the ball, I can't let the ball drop. Just keep taking job, because, there can be like a 2-year lag once you're pregnant, then you're caring for the young child and blah, blah, blah. But I always, and I felt that too. I actually got pregnant on the series I did, China Beach, which was, my son was born in 1990. Mm-hmm. And they just wrote it into the show. I always tell actresses, like, if you're on a series, now's the time, like if you can make that happen, because they'll accommodate you. It's harder, physically it's harder on you because it's, you want to be with your baby. You don't want to compromise the time with them. And you're just kind of run ragged. Yeah. But you can usually figure it out, and if your partner can help you figure that out, and obviously you have to rely on outside help. If you've got family, that's the best, but sometimes that's not always possible. But anyway, so yes, my advice to to younger actresses is, and they're wanting to start a family, and I said, there's always going to be jobs. They come and go. If this is what you really want, this is what you got to go for, and this is what you got to put all your heart and soul into right now. And I think because that's there's nothing like family. That doesn't go away. It's just like jobs do. You have. And sometimes you have it's been a great experience, and sometimes they're not, and sometimes So I don't know if I'm answering your question about compartmentalize, but I always think about that, having a career and then how do you, because they're long days, right? They're long days, they're nights. It's just it's an unconventional job.
Right.
And
well, I didn't mean to cut you off.
no,
I'm sorry.
I was pretty much just rambling.
No,
Please.
I love you, Marg. You're like, please cut me off. I can't. No, I was gonna say, I was there, whenever your friend had passed away, and the way you were still able to compose yourself and deliver, I know it was greatly affecting you. I could feel it. We could all feel it, but man, you still delivered. So that's why I'm like, how do you do that?
Honestly, that night,
yeah,
I just that I got the news. That was when we were just going to be starting to shoot that big banquet scene. And I asked my friend to help me. My friend Sally, and what would she do? And she would power through it, and somehow I did. And but I remember the following morning, right? Because we shot through the night. And Annie Alonza, who was in the pilot with us, she came up to me. And meanwhile, I had shared with her with a scene like a few days earlier. I was concerned about my friend. I was worried about her. And so cut to the morning, and Annie said, she came up to me and she said you were really wonderful this evening, because we had to do it again and again and have and I was like very effusive with because I was giving this speech about my son and his bride, and how much she changed his life, and how and all that. And there was like some improv going on there to kind of get everybody's energy up, because it was just like there was a whole table full of people. And oh, thank you. And so she complimented me, and I go, thank you. I said, and you were wonderful too, because she gave a speech that night. Her character did, rather. And she said, how are you doing? And that's when I told her that I found out my friend had passed that night, whatever, 8 hours earlier. And she and her hairstylist, Diva, remember Diva? Yeah, they both went, because that's when I just collapsed. I just can I give you a hug? And it just I needed that, but and that's when I finally kind of started to process her. I mean, I don't know how I did it, honestly. I think it's because that's the first thing I said when I saw the text message. I just threw the phone and I said, Sally, you have to help me. So, yeah, God, if you have, that happens to anyone, I think that's what they, I mean, it's such a cliche, the show must go on, but you take the strengths of whatever loved one it was that passes, because it's happened. It's got to have happened thousands of times throughout, in entertainment, and I think that's what people do. That's certainly what I did. I mean, I don't know how else you do it. You can't. One has to be a professional and think that's what they would want you to do. You can't just collapse.
Right.
Until it's the right time to collapse.
Yeah.
So
you still get strength from them,
Oh.
Yeah.
That's exactly how I powered through that week was her, because she was a very resilient, strong, athletic, bright person, and that's what I was trying to do, just channel her energy. Yeah. Well, I didn't mean to get so emotional. But,
no, don't. Nothing. I mean, it's. I realize. 90% of why I'm successful is because, I want to take care of my family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My mom, my dad, and.
Oh yeah, For sure.
And so like when I go into those audition rooms, it's not just for me.
Yeah.
Like it's not just me I'm fighting for. So I
Yeah.
totally get that. That
Yeah.
makes, and like,
And it takes the weight off of it too, because a little bit. It's not just, you can get in your own little insular world and
No.
do they like me? But if you're just, it's really about the much bigger picture,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
I think you're more connected to the material, and therefore you're more connected to whoever's going to be hiring you. You
Yeah.
know, the
Absolutely.
experience is going to be felt by everyone.
Yeah.
That's what you're channeling, or for whom you're doing this for.
yeah. I think that there's something special definitely happens in those moments.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of my best auditions and bookings have come from the fact that they're family based,
Yeah, absolutely.
all family based, and I'm like, oh, because that's so. For me, I know those are my strengths, like where I can easily connect to, and it's so truthful that it's with not in a cocky way, but completely confident. It's like my best work because it's right there. It's so genuine. Like it's undoubtedly like, oh, that's somebody who's really connected, something to do with their
Yes.
family. So yeah, that's real. There's no performance element to it.
Yes.
If that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, there's a role I did in the film Erin Brockovich that I was completely channeling my mother and another relative, right? So it just was so, like, wasn't even like nervous about whether it was the audition or actually even doing the filming, which is directed by Steven Soderbergh. And he moves fast. He likes to work fast. In fact, there was one time he came up to me, knocked on my door and said, we're moving pretty quickly today. This scene that's supposed to be it's scheduled for, I don't know, the following day or maybe even 2 days from. He says, do you think are you prepared to do that? And I go, yeah, no problem. Oh, great. So, I mean, it really came to my advantage. And also, it was Julia Roberts, who is she's arguably like, one of the biggest movie stars still, but then was just like the uber superstar movie star, right? And she doesn't like to rehearse, likes to move fast too. Wow. So it really just came to that the fact that I really had a kinship to this role, because I just, it was my mom, it was my other, like, that helped me enormously. I mean, I was pretty nervous the first day for sure, but I kind of got over that, because it was just, you just really stay kind of focused and are in the moment with, and most of my scenes that were with her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get nervous when you saw me on the call sheet? You were like, oh my God, working with Wesam. Shit.
No, but the fact that you told me when we in the gym, I think it was, right, that you were from Oklahoma, and now I'm from Nebraska, but they're not even like kind of, well, they're both sort of Midwestern. You're considered more Southern, like a Southern. I don't even know like what Oklahoma.
I've been in arguments with people about this. I just say Midwest, and that's it. I don't.
Yeah,
feel,
that's probably better. Just Midwest, yeah.
because Southern to me is like Alabama.
Yeah. I know. It's yes.
I don't know. But you were
Texas,
saying, yeah.
Georgia. But I mean, there was like a I felt a kinship towards you because of, the same vicinity, I guess, part of the country.
Well, you had such a nice energy about you that, I don't know. That's the one thing that I was like, oh, she seems really cool. Like, she doesn't seem like, I didn't know who you were, or like when at the gym, because I knew we weren't sharing the resort with anybody, but I was like, oh, who are you? And you were so nice, and I don't know, just your energy. So I'm glad it worked out.
Oh, you didn't know who I was.
Oh my gosh. I didn't. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you, Marg. I can't lie to you.
Have you checked my resume? Have you checked my IMDb page?
Oh, you want to know one of my favorite memories of you on set is when we were doing the scene, and I was like, guys, I smell Emmys. And then you were like, you said something like, well, I already have one. And I'm like, ah. And then I was like, wait, for real? And you're like, yeah. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Congrats.
I don't quite remember that exchange, but
It was late at night, and it wasn't like cocky or like, you were just like, well, actually, I actually already have one. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Congrats.
oh man.
Oh, man. Oh, my gosh. You know what I do wish? I wish I could hang out with Charlie a little bit and do some Wing Chun, learn some stuff from him a little bit. That'd be fun.
Oh, I'll mention it to him. I know
Yeah.
you guys had sort of talked about that a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, he loves, he's pretty much does it every day. Some of it every day.
Yeah.
Because we have a little gym in our house, and yeah, it's all part of his routine.
Yeah. I have
He
a...
even does it with Marlin, as you
dog?
mentioned. Yeah, the dog.
Oh my gosh. Taking care of a pet, I'm always amazed that first time the pet connects with you.
Oh, I know.
Do you know that, like,
Yeah.
me and my brother have two cats, and they're rescue brothers. We found we got them from a place, and
Do you and your brother live with each other?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
He's a music producer and a musician, and so he moved out here, I think, like 5-6 years ago, and so I was like, okay, cool, we'll get a place together. You know what I mean? And yeah, just those moments where, obviously cats are very different from dogs, and I just remember the first time one of them just kind of sits on your lap and just nudges you. You're like, oh no, I'm gonna be so sad in like 13 years. That's immediately where my mind goes. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh no. Okay.
Well, it is kind of, I mean, because, they're getting to know you, we're getting to know the pet. I mean, each pet has its own personality. I mean, there's obviously, depending on the breed, or I guess if they're rescues, they can have a lot of, or they're, they're mutts, they can have a lot of different qualities that you can attribute to, oh, well, that's the lab part, or that's the poodle part, or that's the whatever. But it is really sweet because this dog Marlin, he was tough for the first month. I mean, we were like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? He just was like out of control. But then when you start to see him like maturing, and he just like sees you and I think also dogs sometimes don't necessarily distinguish between dogs and humans. You know what I mean? So when they start nipping at you, they want to play, and they don't realize that it's that's not how you play with a human by nipping at them,
Right.
biting them. But you can do that with a dog. But if you get an older dog, a dog will just like, add some sass to it and
Right.
Put them in their place. But yeah, I mean that is a really beautiful thing when you start to connect with an animal.
Yeah.
That's your pet.
My old roommate, she stopped her dog from biting by biting it once, and it stopped biting. And I was like, you did what? Excuse me? And I'm like, all right, I guess it worked. All right, cool.
I don't know if I could do that.
Listen, I'm not. I'm
No,
just
no, I
saying.
know.
I'm throwing that out
No.
there. Take it as you will, listeners and viewers. So,
Yeah.
that's so interesting. I don't know. Yeah, I want. We're done for the Adobe Live Radio. Okay. If you're listening or live on Adobe Radio, thank you for tuning in live. The show continues on. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we're also on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and thank you for tuning in live. And the show continues on. Tune in tomorrow. Our hour slot is done on Adobe Radio, but we can keep talking for a little bit more if you're having a good time.
Yeah.
I won't make you cry anymore. I really appreciate you doing this. I know you're all busy right now, and you're all hot right now, working on 2 shows, and yeah.
Yeah, I got this call from my pleasure, Wesam. Yesterday, came up on my phone. Anthony Zeiker, who is the guy who created CSI, right?
Yeah.
I didn't pick it up, actually. I mean, I was eating.
Yeah.
At our house. I could have picked it up because I picked it up for somebody else, but. No, I did. Actually, my ex-husband called me like a couple minutes later, and I picked that up.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be a grandmother.
Oh, congrats!
Yes, thank you.
This is your son, the lawyer.
Yeah, Huey. Yes,
Huey.
they're having a baby. So now it's official. Like they didn't want to let too many people know. I mean, we knew, but he was calling to say, well, okay, now they got anyway. So So yeah, and why did I bring this up? Oh, that Anthony, I hadn't, because he kind of left the show a while back,
Yeah.
when we were season 4 or 5, I forget. So I didn't really have much connection with him, but I guess he's coming back to write this big, how did he refer to it, as solo episode or something, in which my character, to launch season 2, I guess
Ooh.
I'm heavily in this episode. He wants to get together with me and just chat
awesome.
and pick my brain and stuff. So yeah, I guess I don't know why I even, whatever you had said right before that, it made me think of that.
I don't know.
Getting a
This
phone
show.
call.
This is the nature of the show. We go off on so many
Oh.
tangents, so it's all
Right.
good.
Yeah.
No, just I think because you're all busy. That's what I said. You're working on
Oh,
2 shows
yeah,
right now. Yeah.
yeah. So that's it. That those kind of calls keep coming in,
Yeah.
and oh, okay, well, I haven't
Yeah.
heard from him in God knows how many years, and
Yeah.
so that'll be fun. He's a unique guy, unique character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. That's got to be cool though. Whenever the writer wants to pick your brain a little bit, I've had that happen a couple times. So I'm like, okay, cool.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, that's one thing they did do on. Well, actually, on my first series, China Beach, they did that too. Yeah, need a break, the ears.
Are they really red?
Not too
No?
bad.
Not too bad. Okay. They're like cauliflower ears. She's like, it's fine. It's fine.
No, that's really exciting about television series, in that if you have a good relationship with the writers and vice versa, it's very creative, and it's so it's just like the way you create together, right? And it just
Yeah.
well, what about this, and what about it? I love that aspect of.
Do you prefer the fast-paced nature of shooting television, or like a slower-paced? Well, obviously Soderbergh didn't do it so slow.
No,
but-
he was fast.
Yeah. Do you prefer it a little slower or a
No,
little
I
faster?
kind of like it fast, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you?
Oh yeah, I love. That's why I love TV,
Yeah.
because you're just pumping them out, and I like
Yeah.
the energy
Yes,
of like
no,
you gotta
it's
shoot.
definitely
Hey guys,
you
we gotta
get
move.
it's yeah.
When you get the rhythm, that's
Well,
the
and
best
it's
part.
also it's like I don't know if this happens to you when you're not like in a groove working, right? And like at the end of like say 8:00 at night or something, you're like, oh, I'm so exhausted, right? But like there's many times you've been at 8:00, then you're just starting to work, right? But I'm always still amazed, like where did I come up with that energy, like to plow through, and
Yeah.
and every actor has that experience at some point or another. You just don't think you've already put in a 12-hour day. How many more hours can you do this? And sometimes you do it 17 hours, 18 hours. My first series, China Beach, sometimes we would go around the clock.
What?
24, 25 hours. Yeah. They wouldn't do that now because it's so prohibitively expensive. First of all, it's inhumane to do that. Very. I mean, like, come on.
The crew must be
No, it's inhumane.
dead.
It's inhumane. But it's just also they got quite rich because you're in what they call triple time, golden time. Studios wouldn't do that anymore. Networks wouldn't do that anymore. So they just pull the plug at 14 probably. I don't really know. I mean, every show's unique, but yeah.
I had a commercial job once that this was when I first was
Well,
starting
they
off.
always have money.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was for Grey Poupon. It never aired. They messed up shooting the commercial. I don't think the director liked me. He didn't shake my hand when he shook everybody else's hand. I remember that moment. He was introducing himself to everybody, and I'd come up next. And imagine like and little Wesam like this.
You're still like traumatized by it. I could tell. Like the look in your eye when he didn't shake my hand. He didn't shake my hand.
Marg, I felt so awkward, and I didn't know what to do. I'm still a green actor, and I'm just like, oh, should I just interrupt everybody and just, hey, I'm Wesam. I play the guy who's the supermarket clerk who sees the car crashing down from the ceiling. Anyway, the car crashed down from the ceiling in the shot.
Oh, there's a big action sequence.
Oh yeah, but it didn't land right. It didn't fall correctly. It fell on like its side, and it was supposed to fall straight down. So they had to re-rig everything and reset everything. I think that was like possibly like a 17, 18-hour day that day. And I remember that paycheck coming in, and I was like, oh, This is great.
Oh yeah, no, the crew on China Beach, they all said it was brutal. It was really brutal, but they were compensated for that at least. But in getting back to when you were asking about like the pace of stuff,
Oh,
because
yeah,
I've worked on any like action type film, right? Like this movie I did, Species, and then Species 2. They, because it's involving a creature, like it was this creature, this alien creature that was created by the same guy that created the alien monster for the film from like late 70s. Have you ever saw Alien?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
great. Still holds up. I saw it pretty recently on a plane.
You see Prometheus?
No, what's that?
It's
Is
the
that
prequel to Alien.
Oh, did Ridley Scott direct it?
Did he direct it, Peyton?
I forget if he was just a producer on it or if he
Oh, it was
directed
good?
it.
I loved it.
Oh.
And
Is Sigourney Weaver in it?
No.
Oh.
no, she's in the. No, she's not.
She's not in any of the new
Yeah.
ones.
No, anyway, sorry. You were saying.
Oh.
Sorry, we keep going.
But anyway, it's just they
Yeah.
like the creature like has to break through the wall of a hotel room or something, right? And okay, we got that one. Okay, 3 hours go by because you have to reset everything, and it's hard to keep your energy up and your momentum. So yeah, I'm all for it. Just doing it fast. I mean, I get it. Like it's not, it's all about this creature. All these things have to work,
Yeah.
to tell the story. But still, it's just.
I worked on NCIS LA. They brought my character back after like a few years or something, and it was so nice to go back to that show because I believe they have 8 or 9 hour work days. That's it. Everybody goes home after that. And some shows are like that now, where they're like, "Hey,
Yeah.
you guys get a life after the show."
Well, I
so
think
I'm
we
like, "Oh,
did
that's
that
cool."
on CSI towards the end too. We were down
Oh.
to like 10 hours, which is not bad.
No.
Yeah.
That's not bad at all.
No, it's not. It's not.
You're still shooting a bunch of pages a day, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, that was like a well-oiled machine. We had gotten it down to that the crew was like just fantastic.
Isn't that the best?
Yeah, they were all so professional and so just like creative and working as a unit. It was fun. It was really that was a fun show to do. I did it for almost 12 years and. So there's another reason why I'm I don't know if any of the crew is going to be back because, that was, but, and in fact, I'm the only actor from the original group that's going back for this season.
Oh.
Yeah, the first season, because they did a 10 episode season last year. It's called CSI Vegas. The original one is called CSI Crime Scene Investigation. And then they started doing all the spinoffs.
Right.
CSI Miami, CSI New York, CSI Cyber even, right?
Yeah.
That was with Patricia Arquette.
Oh,
who's such a great actress. I love her.
Did I audition for that one?
CSI Cyber. I think it was really short. I mean, short season. It was, and that was one season and done.
I think that was one with little Bow Wow. Or am I thinking of another one?
Maybe.
He played one of the
I
hacker
don't.
guys.
I just
Anyway,
know
sorry.
Patricia Arquette was the lead. So wait, where was I going with this? Oh, so the first season, yes, it's now called CSI Vegas, was Billy Peterson, William Peterson, and Georgia Fox from the original cast. And then a couple other actors who did like a recurring thing, Wally Langham and Paul Guilfoyle. But it's just me this time, just me, as it should be.
Yeah, that's fun. I really hope we get to work together on another project.
I hope
really
so
do.
too.
I want something
Maybe
really fun with you.
CSI. I'll be talking to Anthony Syker.
Hey, Anthony.
Well, actually, the one to talk to, I guess, is Jason Tracy, the guy who's running the show. Anthony's
Jason.
just there you go.
What's up, Jason?
Jason and Anthony.
The chemistry. Come on, think about it. Anyway, that's me pitching. I'm the worst pitcher.
And it shoots here. You don't have to leave town.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
I love working, but I also love working in Los Angeles. There's just something when you're
to sleep in your own bed.
it's just more restful. You're in your home
Yes.
base. You know the city. I don't care if I have to drive an hour and a half.
I know.
I'd rather do that than travel if I had the choice. Obviously, if I don't have a choice, it's fine. I'm working whatever. But like,
Yeah.
there's just something. The amount of energy spent working in a foreign city is just so much. I feel like you're not used to the space. You're getting used to it maybe, but your energy is constantly being drained.
Yeah, no, I hear you. It's
Yeah.
I've been really fortunate that most of the series I've done have shot here.
Yeah, that's
'Cause,
awesome.
I mean, that's the other thing. If the Getaway had gone, I wasn't going to shoot in L.A.
Yeah.
You know, that would have been. There was even talk of like Australia, and I went,
Oh, the Getaway. Yeah, I was about to say that to you. They talked about going to Australia.
I know,
And
I
I'm
know,
like, I'm just a recurring. I was a recurring on that. I wasn't a series regular. So I'm like,
oh, right.
I'm like, well, that's gonna be interesting. I mean, because of taxes. I mean, I'm being real here.
COVID and
You know what I
all
mean?
the COVID protocols at that point too, because they, I think maybe they're opened up now, but they were on lockdown for months and months and months and months, like serious lockdown.
Australia, some of the stuff. Listen, I'm not anti-vax or any of that stuff, but like some of the protocol stuff that my friends have been posting when they're in quarantine.
Oh, in Canada?
And no, in Australia.
Oh, because Canada was bad too.
It's a prison, like really bad. You're stuck in a room, probably something like this size, and they bring you your meals 3 times a day, and then the cell reception
What?
isn't good. Oh yeah, and then your internet reception isn't that great, and you're like, are you guys kidding me?
You mean you're living in a room this size, or this is where you're hanging out when you're on set?
No, you're before like your quarantine getting into Australia. I had a friend
Oh,
post their stuff.
got it. Okay.
Yeah.
God, I know. I mean, yeah, that's
Okay.
yeah.
There's nothing wrong with this? You guys don't see anything wrong with this? Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah, let's hope it's a good project, because if
Right.
they're doing something that's just mediocre, like, get me the fuck out of here, right?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to think. Have I been unlucky enough to do something like a really bad show? Like a really bad show.
And you were in some, God, no, awful place. That's never happened to me, I don't think.
Oh, you ready for a story?
Yes! In fact, I am! Such a dramatic pause.
I know. Non-union movie.
Well,
And it was about a mummy, okay? We drove, I don't know how many hours into the desert, okay? They told
from
us.
here, from LA?
From LA,
Okay,
yeah.
uh-huh.
And I had to share a hotel room with a stranger, like somebody on set, and that was already like, okay, cool. And I'm like, a young actor, so I'm like, I need anything for my credits or whatever like that. We get to set, and it's the most, you're talking about unprofessional sets.
yeah.
It's one of those. And I played a Egyptian guide to the tomb of the mummy. That's good, and we eventually get shot at by like other, I don't know, burglars of the tomb or something like that. And literally one of the shots, I thought we were just rehearsing, right? And so they're like, okay, like kind of just be there shooting. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like no action, no nothing like that. And I'm supposed to be yelling in Arabic. So I just start just being silly because I'm like, all right, cool. Like milk. I'm just yelling milk in Arabic. Right. I don't know why. I was just being silly or whatever. Milk. And I'm like, milk in Arabic. So they're like, great, we got
What
it.
does it sound like in Arabic?
Halib. Like that's what it is.
It sounds scary, though.
Yeah, right. But they're like, cool, we got it. Moving on. And I'm like, oh, were we rolling? And that's in there. And I'm like, oh, crap. The whole thing was a nightmare and everything like that. And then afterwards, they were like, hey, we got to go back and do some reshoots, but we can't pay you guys. And I'm like, oh.
What?
Yeah. And I was like, I had a manager at the time, thankfully. And I was like, hey, can you tell them I'm not doing this? Because I don't want to, like, talk with them anymore. Because it was like, that's how bad of an experience
Well,
it was.
how could they expect anybody to go back without getting paid?
Like, that
Who
kind
does
of,
that?
You want me to go spend another night in the desert with you guys and just for...
I know.
Okay, cool. Hey, I had a really good time with you.
I did too.
And
Thank you.
I'm really happy for all your shows, and I can't wait to see them. All Rise, CSI.
Maybe I'll see you on the set on one of those shows.
If Jason and Anthony decide so.
Or on All Rise, it would be D. Harris Lawrence. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm hot right now.
Yeah.
Getting offers, so you got to be quick. Yeah, thank you. Seriously, I really enjoy your company, and I always enjoy our talks, and I hope we get to do more of them.
I hope so too.
Yeah. Tell Charlie I said hi, and
I will.
I want to do some kung fu with him.
I
so,
will.
yeah.
I'll definitely mention that to him because he would enjoy that. I think.
Yeah, I'm down.
Like to spar and all that kind of stuff, or is that what you call it? Spar?
Yeah, I'd like to start off doing just basic training and see how what he does, and just kind of like shadow him. And
Straight
stuff.
to sparring.
Straight to sparring. He would
Straight
kick
to
my butt.
sparring.
He would kick my butt. Yeah.
Well,
for sure.
he's twice your age, so I don't know if that's would happen, but he's in great shape for his age, for sure.
Oh, he's in really good shape. That's why I saw him at the gym.
You know, he is. He's in great shape.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's done it his whole life, pretty much. So.
Also, maybe see your dog.
Marlon.
Marlon.
He's named after Marlon Brando.
Oh, I
'Cause
like
he was
that.
born. Marlon Brando, believe it or not, was born in Nebraska. Did you know that?
I did not know
He was
that.
born and raised in Nebraska.
So many good actors
Not much of a
from the
farm,
Midwest.
right? You know. Exactly.
Peyton, play us out. Hey, thank you for tuning into the show. Really appreciate you guys. If you enjoy the show, just hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to let you know when new episodes come up. And make sure you follow Marg on social media. What are you on social media? Just your name? Marg.
In Instagram, Marg Helgenberger, and then on Twitter, I'm Marg Helgen.
Helgen.
Marg Helgen.
Marg Helgen.
Marg Helgen.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love people's Twitter stories whenever their handles get taken by somebody.
Well, that happened right away, and I, yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
I'm not next episode.
Yeah.
Hey, I really appreciate you guys tuning in. We've got a lot of new followers recently, and just thank you for tuning into the show. Always appreciate you guys. Always remember to listen, think, and then talk. Bye, guys.